friends, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Thank you so much for coming back if you've been here before. Today we are going to be doing a pick a card reading, and today's subject is going to be your own rom-com. So all about your story with your future spouse. We are going to make this a fun one. So I do want to include a disclaimer. This one is meant to be fun. This one is meant to be lighthearted. So keep that in mind as you are listening to this one. So I do have three options for you today. Option number one is the Lovers from the Marvel Tarot deck. Option number two is the Lovers with Gomez and Morticia Adams, and that is from the Adams Family Tarot deck. It's actually a major arcana only, but it is a tarot deck that I have. And option number three is the Lovers from the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot deck, and it has Jack and Sally on there. So pause the video if you need to ask yourself which pile, or maybe piles, have a message for you. And let's talk about what you can expect in this reading. So for this reading, I do have some cards already pre-shuffled. We are going to start by looking at who are you, where are you at, and we're going to look at your future spouse and what's going on with your future spouse. Then we're going to move into the opening scene. So how does the story start? What is the vibe as you start your rom-com, as you start your story with your future spouse? We're going to move into the meet cute, and that is going to be the first spark, how you'll meet, how you'll connect. We're then going to move into the supporting characters. So this could be a person or a group of people that will help you on your love journey. Then we have your character arc, and this is what you're learning or transforming as you move towards love. And then we have your future spouse's character arc, and this is going to tell us what your future spouse is working through before coming to you. So kind of the same thing as your own character arc. Then we're going to move into the big romantic moment. So what changes everything? And this could be, a confession, an event, just whatever wants to come through. We're then going to look at your love language together. So how do you both express love? We're going to move into the final scene. So a glimpse of your future together. Think of it as a montage at the end of a film. And then we are going to go with the credits, which is what the relationship teaches you about love, joy, partnership, connection, relationships. So I will be shuffling on camera, and I'm going to leave the tarot decks as a surprise. Usually I show what deck I'm going to be using with which pile, but I still haven't decided that, so I'm going to keep that as a surprise. So if this sounds like something that you're interested in, get cozy. We're about to get started. If this is where you leave me, I hope you come back soon. Thank you for being here. But let's get started. Hello, pile number one. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Lovers card from the Marvel Tarot deck. And that is Mary Jane and Spider-Man on there. So as a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown at the beginning, which is timestamped below, which is going to tell you everything that's going to be answered during this reading and the format. So I highly, highly suggest that you check that out. That way you know if this is the right reading for you. But to get started, we are going to look at your energy when this rom-com starts and your future spouse's energy. So this isn't so much as a who are you both as much as it's a what's going on for you both at the time. Let's get started here. So first person is the bee, the bear, and motivate. And my intention is that you, my viewer, are on the left, your future spouse is on the right. That being said, sometimes the energies can flip-flop. And what you may also find is that this can sound like you and this can sound like you, but if neither one of these sounds like you or how you would act or where you would be at when you meet your future spouse or when you start your romantic connection with them, just try choosing a different pile. Then we have the dragonfly, the bat, and finally we have receptivity. So let's talk about it. Pile number one. I think what's really interesting is that we have so much air energy because every single one of these cards has an element. And as you can see, for the bee, the dragonfly, and the bat, it is the element of air. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, very highly represented here. We also have the bear with some earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn represented. So I think there's a lot of just intelligence between the two of you, but I also think that when you meet, you're not necessarily going to be that's not going to be the focus when this story unfolds, when this comes together for you. It doesn't feel like either one of you is focused on a relationship. And it feels like the focus is going to be a lot of like just different things for different people. But let's talk about the bee first. So I think and I'm going to refer to this person on the left as the bee, this person as the dragonfly. But with the bee energy being here, I think what happens when these two come together, it really is where this B person is kind of really focused on career, on finances, on self improvement. It feels like this is going to be a very busy time for this B person when this connection kicks off, when this connection gets started. Because we have the B, and the B is one of those like very hardworking, always on the go. Think about like a bee colony. Think about how you would see how bees work very hard, and how there's a queen bee and then there's the worker bees, and it's like its own just colony, right? That's what they're called, and that's why they're called that. And it does feel like this is a time where both of these people, but also especially the bee person, is in a place of like focusing on self, taking care of self. I do think this is going to be a very busy time. And I think that the B person is going to be working very hard towards something very specific. This feels like a dream, a goal. There's some sort of end game that this person is focused on. And I have to be honest, I don't think the B person is necessarily focused on being in a relationship and finding a relationship and dating. This feels like somebody who, when these two come together, there's a level of synchronicity here, because I don't think the B person is necessarily looking for it or even super open to it. But when this story gets started, the current energy for the B person is going to be one of just making the best of what they're doing. This really feels like somebody who is out there living their best life, somebody who is out there just on the grind and making sure that they are doing what is right for them and what feels good for them, and that they are investing time and energy into their own future, into their own desires. And I do think that to some extent, this B person is going to be somewhat guarded when this story starts, right? We're talking about your own rom-com. So when this story starts between you and your future spouse, it does feel like the B person is going to be kind of guarded, not in a way of purposefully keeping people out and like being very intentional about it, but in the sense of like, if the person is not right for them, or if it's something that isn't beneficial to them, this B person isn't going to give it time and energy. I do think this is going to be a very active time for the B person. And it could be that this is somebody who's extroverted. It could also be like this is more of an introvert, and this is a time in their life where there's a lot happening and there's a lot that's requiring their attention, but that's coming through here. I do think that for this B person, making sure that they are having enough time for their spirituality and to be their spiritual self and to have spiritual moments is also going to be very much at the forefront when these two connect. And I also do feel like this is somebody that is going to be going through some sort of growth cycle, and it feels very individual, very personal. So again, for some, this is like career and finances are the focus. For others, this is more about the focus being very spiritual. But whatever this is about, it feels like the B person is really focused on self and being the best version of themselves that they could absolutely be. I do also think that when these two connect, the B person has a pretty stable inner circle, and the B person has like people that they can count on, people that are part of that like strong circle that they have around them. I also do think that this B person is going to be exhausted, but it's like they have energy to do what needs to be done because they are enjoying their life at this point in time when these two come together. I will say, one thing about the B person is very honest, and this is somebody who is going to communicate very clearly and somebody who's going to be very forthcoming from the beginning. So I do think that the B person has a very strong throat chakra as well as a very strong solar plexus chakra, especially when this story starts, when these two are kind of embarking on this journey. And I do think that this B person is going to be going through a period of like deep personal transformation. And again, that's going to be at the forefront. And this person has a very clear outlook on what they want and what they're trying to create. But let's talk about the dragonfly person because these are two very interesting energies. So, I think, like the bee person, the dragonfly is going to be a little bit on the busier side. But I also think that the dragonfly is going to be more of an internal energy, whereas it feels like the bee person is very externally focused. It feels like it's very extroverted energy, at least when this is happening at the time that we're starting this story between these two. But for the dragonfly, it feels like there's a lot happening, but there's a lot happening internally. I do think this is a time where this dragonfly person is going through a lot of realizations. I also think that this is a time where this dragonfly person is learning to slow down and smell the fresh roses or the fresh coffee, right? So this person is slowing down, this person is gaining a deeper understanding of self. And it almost feels like there is a yin yang energy to these two because they feel very similar, but at the same time, I think how these energies are going to present for these two is going to be very different. Um, One thing about the dragonfly is I think the dragonfly is going to be in this place where they're trusting the universe, they're trusting themselves, and they're going with the flow. And I don't necessarily think that's always the case for the dragonfly person, but I do think as both of you kind of embark on this energy, whoever the dragonfly is going to kind of be more relaxed and more receptive to going with the flow and surrendering and allowing things to unfold. And I think that that is exactly why both of these people are going to be able to connect because neither one of them are necessarily seeking it out and neither one of them are necessarily trying to force anything. It just feels like a time and space where they're just kind of doing their thing. And it feels very like out of the blue where this connection comes in. And we will be looking at like how you both meet throughout the reading in a little bit, but that's how this is kind of reading so far. And I will say, with the dragonfly person, they are going through a major transformation when this story gets started, when this story begins to unfold. There is absolutely a major transformation. And they are in a place where the dragonfly is having to learn acceptance and having to let go. There's something here that, like the shadow aspect, or it's a dark night of the soul, where this person is coming out of either a period of transformation or like a dark night of the soul. And there is a rebirth of who this dragonfly person is. And they are kind of falling into place with letting go of the old and embracing the new. And I think that that's the transformation that kind of really allows for these two to connect and connect it from a place of again, just surrender. There's a lot of surrender. There are no expectations here for either party as this story gets started. That is coming through as very important. But pile number one, for your pile, I am going to be using what is the name of this deck? The Woodland Fairy Tale Tarot. And we're going to get started by looking at the opening scene. These cards are very hard to shuffle. But we're going to get started by looking at the opening scene of how does this story start between the two of you? How does this story start? How does your movie, your rom-com, how does it start? And it could be a book, it could be a movie, right? It doesn't have to be a movie. But for my pile number ones, how does this story start? What is the opening scene here for these two? You know what? That's a lot of cards, but we'll take it. Bottom of the deck, we have Temperance. Do I really want to take all of these cards? No. Do I really? I don't know, pile number one. I'm kind of, you know what? We'll take them. Strength card. King of Cups. The Hermit card. Let's do it that way. Let's see what else we have here. The Six of Wands. Okay, I see why they all wanted to come out. We also have the Tower. Absolutely. I'm picking up what is being put down. The Hierophant. Let's place that right over here. And then we have the Knight of Swords. Okay. Pile number one, I'm glad I kept them because I'm going to be honest. There was a part of me that wanted to put some of those cards back. But as far as what's going on, how does your opening scene start? I'm going to be honest. It's a bit chaotic, but in the best way possible. If I were to be writing a rom-com or a screenplay or a book, your story starts by two people that are incredibly busy. For both of you, it feels like things have been in a place of transition and transformation. So this could very well be like this story starts because one or both of you is starting a brand new career, or you're starting a new job, or you're finding out that the job that you have to leave it, right? There is a level of chaos that is coming through. And there is a level of things just kind of being up in the air. And I think for both of you, you are in a place where at the point in time where your story starts, where this rom-com starts for you, you are going to be in a point where you have to focus on yourself. There's a lot that's coming up emotionally. And there's a lot that you need to deal with. So this feels like a very chaotic time, a very hectic time where you are both on the go trying to figure out your day-to-day life. So this would start out as like two people that are just struggling to get some sleep because there is so much to be done. Emotionally speaking, I think both of you are in a place where you are trying to make the best of it, and you are making the best of it. So again, there has been a time of transformation. There's been a time of upheaval here, but both of you are grounding yourself into the present moment and focusing on the things that you can control, focusing on the things that you do have a hand in creating and in deciding over. So for both of you, you start out in your rom-com where you're coming out of a period of transition. You're either leaving a job, starting a new job, or you're right in the middle of that transition. And you are keeping busy. You're trying to catch up with everything that you've got going on. So this is two people that, again, the focus is anywhere but love and relationships. And this is a time where both of you are just trying to keep your head afloat. I also think that for both of you, you're in a place where you're trying to create more balance in your life, more time for yourself. So it does feel like you are both doing what needs to be done and enjoying the process, but it also is a very chaotic, hectic time, and you're trying to keep it together as best as possible. And I will say, this period of transformation that happened here for you and your future spouse, pile number one, it really changed your belief system. It really changed your outlook on life. And it does feel like what you are doing and how you are going about it is from a place of empowerment and from a place of I am going to create the life that I want. So even though it's hectic, even though it's chaotic, even though it's overwhelming, it's also something that I am enjoying. This feels like two people that are either very positive or trying to be very positive at this point in time. And it also feels like two people that are rebuilding something. For someone here, either you or your future spouse is going to be moving to this new location, and it could be for a new job, for a new career. It could be a transfer from a current job, but there is some sort of change and shift happening for all of you that chose pile number one as your rom-com gets started. But let's see the meet cute. So how do you meet? How do you connect with your future spouse? What is the first spark? How do you meet? Let's see what wants to come through here. For my pile number ones, what's the meet cute between my pile number one and their future spouse? What's the meet cute here? It's going to be those three. Bottom of the deck, let's see what we have. The Queen of Cups, the Three of Swords, very interesting, the Eight of Wands, the Page of Pentacles. Pile number one, some of you are going to meet this person through work. Some of you, this is going to be a enemies to lovers trope. As I said at the beginning, disclaimer, this is going to be fun. We're talking about a rom-com, so have fun with it. But if I had to come up with a trope for this group, it's going to be enemies to lovers. I think that when you both meet, you are both, again, there's a lot going on. The last thing that you're focused on is on connecting with someone, on like meeting someone. So this doesn't feel like someone set you up and you went on a date, or it doesn't feel like you went on a dating app, or it doesn't feel like you went out with the intention of meeting someone. In fact, I think this is the kind of meet where somebody runs into someone and they spill your coffee, or somebody runs into someone and they're spilling, like they're running into you and knocking your papers over out of your hands. This feels like a very by chance meeting that happens very fast. When it comes to the first impressions, it's kind of, there's a little bit of annoyance and there's a little bit of like, this person just set me back. For some of you, it could be that you're trying to get on an elevator and this person just like either doesn't hold the elevator, or like they didn't see you and the elevator closes. So there is a level of that happening, and it could be you doing that to them, or vice versa, right? So it could be you're in the elevator, or you're the one that runs into them and you spill their coffee all over them. But there is a level of something just not going exactly right, and there being a small level of annoyance, and it's a very quick meeting. For most of you, you are going to meet this person either through work, through a coworker, or you are heading to and from work. There's something with work, there's something with money that is coming through as far as how you meet this person. And it does feel like you're trying to just keep your day-to-day together. You're very busy. You're trying to be on the go. You're trying to get from point A to point B, and you run into this person. But again, there's a level of something just not going all the way right when you run into each other. So there's a level of annoyance here, and just like, ugh, you had to run into, or man, I now I'm late. Now I got to pick up these papers, or now I got to clean myself up because I got coffee all over the place, or I spilled my lunch, I dropped something. There's something around that type of energy coming through. And the reason I say enemies to lovers is because it feels like during the first meet, there is a level of like, I am just annoyed. And I'm so annoyed that I have to deal with this. Not like a actual, we hate each other. Not that at all. Again, it's a rom-com reading. It's supposed to be fun. That's why I'm giving it that. But just know it's nothing other than like an annoyance that's coming through. but it's a very unexpected meeting, pile number one. Let's take a look at your supporting characters in your rom-com, and this could be a person or group that will help your love story. Let's see what else we have coming through for you, pile number one. We have the Eight of Pentacles. Pile number one, this is like a work love story for most of you. We have the Judgment card. We have the Knight of Wands, and we have the Lovers card. Not boobies. YouTube hates a boob. All right, we're going to do it that way. Okay, so pile number one. As far as the supporting character, what's very interesting here is I do think there's other people in your story, and I think they could be colleagues, co-workers, it could be a boss. Not to say that the person that you are connecting with is necessarily a colleague. It's definitely not a boss. I don't think there is a weird power dynamic here, but I do think that your supporting characters are co-workers. There's somebody involved, and for most of you, this is going to be a work love story, whether it's you offer a service and you meet someone, or whether it's you work at the same place. It does feel like work has some sort of influence over this story, but I also think that your supporting character is more of a spirit guide or a spirit a member of your spirit team, because it does feel like your supporting character is someone on the other side, someone on your spirit team, whether it's a spirit guide, an angel, spirit animal, something along those lines. For most of you, it's going to be a spirit guide, where they are orchestrating this so that you meet, so that you connect, so that you come in contact with your future spouse. Because I do think this is somebody that you have a soul contract with. I do think this is someone that you are meant to meet and meant to connect with. So that's coming through here. And I do think that there is an element of fate to this, of this is orchestrated so that the two of you at the very least have to cross paths. And I do think there is a past life connection in between you and your future spouse. Whether you believe in past lives or not, that's coming through. So take it as it resonates. But I think for many of you, there is a past life connection. There is like a type of like red string of fate type of thing happening here, where you're meant to connect with this person. You're meant to kind of come in contact with them, and you are meant to build, to at least have an opportunity to get to know one another, and to, I would say, to at least get to know one another. That's what's coming through. So a big supporting character for this group is more of a spirit guide, your spirit team, and the universe itself. Though I do think there are friends, there are like colleagues, co-workers that are also in the background being helpers, but the biggest helper is the universe itself, spirit itself, where there is this kind of conspiring to make sure that the stars align, to make sure that you and your future spouse have an opportunity to connect, have an opportunity to meet and get to know one another. But let's take a look at your character arc. So what are you learning or transforming as you move towards love? So what are you, during this rom-com, what is your character arc during this rom-com? Bottom of the deck, the Four of Cups. The Five of Swords, the Three of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles. Pile number one, what's interesting is, as far as your character arc in this rom-com, in your own rom-com that we're talking about, it feels like you're in a place where there is a level of apathy, there is a level of frustration, and there's a level of disconnect when it comes to love and relationships. So this could be that you, while you are going through this rom-com, you're in a place like you're the character that you don't want love, that you don't want to connect, that you don't want to get hurt, that you're kind of, you've been through it, you've gotten hurt, and you've decided, I'm not wasting my time and energy on this, so I am going to focus on other things. Now, as far as your character arc, I would say there's even a level of like feeling alone, or feeling like, just kind of having those nights where you feel lonely. But I do think for my pile number ones, there's also a level of like not wanting to truly accept that, not wanting to really sit with that. So it's kind of like a self defense, self preservation, nothing is wrong. I'm okay. I'm doing great. And even if you do feel a little bit like left out, even if you feel a little lonely at times, you're in a place where like you're either trying to ignore it, or you've convinced yourself that you are fine, that everything is going well, and that you don't need anyone, that you don't want anyone. So it does feel like when the day is over, you may have like friends, you may have friends and family that you hang out with. But when it comes to love and relationships, for my pile number one, your character arc is getting to the point where you understand that yes, you do want a relationship, that yes, you are open to being vulnerable, and that even though there's a potential to get hurt, that your desire for love in a relationship is greater than the fear. And I think this is a character arc where you're coming to terms with your truth. You are coming to terms with the fact that you do want more than what you may have initially thought you wanted. And you're kind of working through this sense of like, life has been unfair, especially when it comes to love and relationships. And you're in a place where you are learning the lessons and moving forward without allowing the past to hold you back from what you truly want. And I also think that your character arc is you opening up, you being vulnerable. And again, that realization that something is missing, and that something that is missing may be another person, maybe my soulmate. And you're in a place where you are clearing out blockages. And I do think that through meeting your future spouse, that's really going to help you clear some blockages and get things moving again. And I think the biggest character arc for you, pile number one, is going to be self-discovery and giving yourself permission to acknowledge where you are at. And I also think for my pile number ones, it's you realizing that you keep yourself so busy as a way to keep other people out, especially in a love and relationship type of lens. Very interesting. So let's take a look at what is your future spouse's character arc. When it comes to your future spouse, what is their character arc? What are they learning and transforming? What are they learning and transforming during this rom-com that is your story together? Bottom of the deck, we have that Four of Pentacles. See, very similar energy. We had the Four of Cups for you. For your future spouse, we have that Four of Pentacles at the bottom there, the Empress card. The Queen of Wands. The Eight of Swords. For your future spouse, and this is kind of matching the bee and the dragonfly energy very well. So for your future spouse, their character arc during your rom-com is that they are going through a period of rebirth and self-discovery. And it feels like this is someone that is finally approaching life in a carefree manner, and somebody who is finally approaching life while giving themselves permission to go after what they want. I do think that your future spouse is going to be in a character arc that is quite different from yours, because while for you there's like a level of apathy, there's a level of disconnect and trying to put two and two together, it feels like for your future spouse, they have put two and two together and they've realized in which ways they hold themselves back, and they've realized what they want and what they have to do to get what they want. So they're doing exactly that. If I had to say which one is going to be kind of initiating, I would say that your future spouse is going to be the one to initiate and try to get you to go out with them, try to get you to talk to them, because it feels like for my viewer, right, when we talk about your character arc, you're in a place where you're still kind of trying to get through those blockages and get through the acceptance of what you want and what you desire, and really figure out exactly what that is, where it feels like your future spouse is in a place where they've already identified how they get in their own way. They've already identified what they want and what they desire. And their character arc is them creating exactly what they want and what they desire while getting out of their own way mentally, while not telling themselves that they can't or they shouldn't. Instead, they're going for it and they're making it happen. So this feels like somebody that is fully going in with actions instead of like keeping themselves in a place where they're just thinking about it, they're just planning it. This is somebody who is really unfolding and allowing themselves to take action on what they want. And this is a person that their character arc is they're building their abundance, they're building their wealth through intention and through action, intentional action. So I will say for most of you, this is your future spouse coming in and being the one to kind of take control and being the one to kind of initiate and get the ball rolling here, because they're in a place where they know what they want and they're sick and tired of not going for what they want, or they're sick and tired of like sitting back and allowing life to pass them by. Let's take a look at the big romantic moment. So what changes everything? What is that big romantic gesture moment that happens in your rom-com? Pile number one. Take a look. Bottom of the deck, we have that 9 of Cups. Wow. That's a wish fulfillment. That's something like being, that's a wish that has come true, a wish that has been granted. We have the King of Pentacles. We have, wow, stop it, the 10 of Cups and the 9 of Wands. Pile number one. I like this. I could watch this movie. Somebody get this movie on the screen, right? So pile number one. When it comes to your big romantic moment, I think the best way I can describe this is both of you getting out of your own way and going for it. This is both of you deciding that you want to explore this connection and that you care about each other. I do think there is a grand gesture here because that's coming through. I'm kind of seeing like boombox outside of the window. If you know, you know. But it feels like there is like a grand gesture here of someone is expressing their feelings and someone is saying, let's go all in. And if I had to guess, based on the energies, this is going to be your future spouse coming in and saying, listen, I really like you. You are my dream come true. I can see a future with you. Let's give this a try, right? Let's get out of our own way. Let's give this a try because there is a future here. There is something that we can build together. I do think that when it comes to this big romantic moment, it's both things, right? It is an event where there is some sort of let's communicate, let's put all of the cards on the table and let's move forward from here. Let's decide what comes next from here. But I also think there's a realization of you know what? I don't want to not try this out. I don't want to not explore this and see where this is going to take us, because I do think between you and your future spouse, there's going to be a lot of flirting. There's going to be, this person is going to give you the butterflies. And even if they may be a little bit annoying to you at first, or they may be somebody that kind of, you just don't want to like, because I do feel for my pile number ones, this is more of a I don't want to like this person, so I've convinced myself that I don't like them. Hello, Lizzie and Mr. Darcy. Then I do like this person, and it's harder for me to say that I like them and not give myself a chance. So I do think for my pile number ones, it's more of I kind of really like this person, but now I have to kind of not like them because I like them too much and I'm not really ready to explore. And it's again, it's easier, right? To kind of fall back on I don't like them, they annoy me, I don't want to explore this. And I do think that this person is going to come in. And I also think slowly but surely, your future spouse, pile number one, is going to win you. Your future spouse is going to put so much effort in, and they're going to make sure that you fall for them. And I do think this is going to be like a slow and steady, I'm catching feelings, I'm really enjoying spending time with this person. And I think for some of you, that's why I think for some of you, this is somebody that is in your circle. And for most of you, they're going to be in your circle through work in some way. But this is the realization that, you know what, I really like this person and we have to give it a try. And this is also your person coming in and kind of calling you out like, hey, what are we waiting for? What's going on? Let's give this a chance. You like me. I know you. I know I like you. What's going on? Like, why are we waiting? Why are we playing these games? Let's take a look at your love language together. So as you connect, as you build this connection, what is your love language together for my pile number ones? What's the love language here? Bottom of the deck, the Queen of Cups. A lot of words of affirmation. The Chariot. The Four of Swords. And then we have the 10 of Wands. So when it comes to love language between the two of you, I think a big one is going to be words of affirmation. Like, you are going to be able to tell one another how you feel. I do think this is a couple, like this is going to be a relationship where there's going to be a lot of like, I love you, I like this about you, I miss you, I want to be with you. I can't wait to get home, like things like that. It's going to be very cute. I also think as far as like love language, acts of service is going to be a big one where you're both going to know what the other person needs, and you're both going to know how to show up and make your person's life and energy a little bit easier. So I would say the main ones for this group is words of affirmations with acts of service, with a side of physical touch, because I do think that physical touch is going to be how you really connect, especially after a hard day. I could see that this is like a connection where there's a lot of cuddling, there's a lot of touching, kissing, hugging, all of the good things. But also it's that, again, like that encouragement and that like, just, you know what, you're having a hard day. Let me take care of this for you. Or like, let me go put gas in the car. Let me go pick up dinner. Let me go pick up coffee. It feels like there's a lot of that as well. And like comforting one another, whether it's with words, whether it's with actions, or even through physical touch, is going to be very, very at the forefront of this relationship, of this connection. And I think for both of you, you have that in common where you feel seen, you feel heard, you feel loved with the other person showing up in that way. So let's take a look at the final scene. So what is a glimpse of your life together? This is like the montage, right? Like the montage as we are about to go into the final credits. What is a glimpse of your life together for my pile number ones? pile number 1, we have the 5 of Cups, 7 of Swords, 2 of Pentacles, and Ace of Swords. So when it comes to the final montage, it's very interesting that we have the 5 of Cups. I actually want to see what's underneath here. The 6 of Cups. That makes sense. Okay. So it's very interesting that we have the 5 of Cups here, because the 5 of Cups typically speaks to like a level of disappointment. And what I think this is talking about is the ending montage, the final scene, is kind of a look back where we get to see what was going on before this relationship came together. Because what this feels like is almost like this final montage is showing like this is how far these two have come, and this is how far these two have transformed their lives through the connection together. So this is the before and the after, and this is like a balanced montage of like, this is how pile number 1 and pile number 1's future spouse were spending their nights at home, where it was kind of like they were just watching TV or they were having dinner alone. And then it's like, but this is what's happening now. And now they are together. They are experiencing things as a couple. And I also think that this is a montage where it feels like almost like a recap of the before, with the understanding that that has completely changed. And with that 6 of Cups underneath this 5 of Cups, it does feel like this is a montage where it's meant to show that you are both meant for one another, and that this was kind of like orchestrated. So if this was a rom-com and the supporting person, the supporting cast, or like the supporting character was like the universe or like a spirit guide, you kind of see the spirit guide smiling and looking back at what was and then seeing what is, and you see the difference between those two things. So again, like what was is like the alone, doing things on your own and like not being super content, with the current and the after being like experiencing those exact same things, which could be seen as, you know, more mundane or more routine things, but you're now doing it with another person. And there is that understanding that this was meant to unfold in the way that it did. So this feels like one of those where if this was a rom-com, there would also be a level of like supernatural, there's some sort of like magical being or like serendipity type thing playing a part in this. Pile number 1, let's take a look at the credits. So what this relationship teaches you about love, joy, partnership. For my pile number 1, so what is this relationship going to teach them? We have the Hanged Man. Wow, justice. See, there's definitely the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles is emotional, spiritual, physical, material abundance. It is, the 10 of Cups is all about that connection. The 10 of Pentacles is even more, because it also says not only are you going to have that connection, not only are you going to have all that you desire, but you're going to have the abundance, the physical, material abundance to go with it. It is a family card. So I love that this is here, because we also have the Hanged Man and the Justice card. And both the Hanged Man and the Justice cards are very spiritual energies. And there's also a level of like meant to be, as well as surrendering and allowing the universe to do its magic. And I think that that is exactly what you will both learn, is that the universe always had your best intentions at heart, and that this was meant to be for you. And every single lesson that you went through, every single experience that you went through was in some way in preparation, whether it was something that wasn't as great, right? Where you experienced something that just felt really just, you know, crappy. It taught you what you didn't want and what you didn't want to deal with and what you wouldn't deal with and what a deal breaker was. Whereas if it was also something that was like very lovely, it taught you about what you wanted more of. So there really is like this relationship feels like it was meant to be. And what this relationship teaches you is that the universe always has your back. And this was always meant for you. You were always meant to find love and joy and connection and your soulmate, right? For both of you. And there is a level of just things falling into place almost by magic through this connection and through this relationship, and learning that you don't have to force anything because the universe is always conspiring to the universe is conspiring to make sure that you have all that you need and desire and deserve. Pile number 1. Let's see what else we have here. I did pre-shuffle some of these. So we have boundaries. You need to teach people how to treat you by being clear on what you will or won't allow. And pile number 1, I will say that your future spouse is absolutely going to honor and respect you. And I think that for my pile number 1s, especially for my viewers, you are in a place where you are being very intentional about your boundaries, and you are putting the right boundaries in place in order to get to where you want to be. Then we also have twin flame. This person is a mirror soul. This is why this connection feels so sacred to you. So for some of you, this is a twin flame, a divine counterpart. Take that as it resonates. Then we have free yourself. You don't need to be in control of everything for a love relationship to be successful. And that's a big part of this reading, and the messages that are coming through in this reading is you don't have to always be the one in control. You don't have to make things happen. There are things that want to fall in place for you, and all you have to do is follow your intuition without feeling like you have to force it. Then we have second chance. This relationship deserves a second chance. And here's the thing, pile number 1. I did say that for this group, there is an element of like, you may just be annoyed by this person the first time you meet them, and it could just be the circumstances. Now, obviously, I'm going to call out the obvious for some of you. Maybe you know who this is, and maybe you've already met them, and maybe this is still unfolding for you. If you've been thinking about it, that could be your message. If you are one of the people that you don't know anyone that would fit this and you would not give anyone a second chance, ignore this part of the message. Then we have friendship. This friendship is leading to more. And I do feel like this is one of those connections where it's like, they're going to annoy you, but they're also going to grow on you. And like, they're going to make sure, your future spouse is going to make sure that they like do like really sweet things and they really earn your love. Because I think from the start, the attraction is there, but for some reason it's like, there's an annoyance. And that's why I think that when you both meet, something is just like not working out, in the sense of like something just doesn't go right. And for some reason, it's kind of just turned to one another. And if I'm being completely honest, I think it's my viewer that is most annoyed. And this could be like, maybe your future spouse is actually your competition at a job, or like your competition, that something that has to do with money or career or a project. Maybe they are a competition. And then we have, wow. So we have the twin flame and the soulmate card, and then this reading really speaks to that like magical sense of it was always supposed to fall into line this way. And it says your soulmate loves, accepts, and respects you unconditionally. All right, pile number 1. Let's see what these final 2 cards are. It says, ask for help. What do you really need? Be willing to accept support. So this could be asking your guides, your angels, your spirit animals, spirit guides, somebody in your day-to-day life. Don't be afraid to really put yourself out there and ask for what you need. Then it says, turn on your heart light. Reflect on a time when you experienced love. And for my pile number 1s, for those of you that resonate with the message, just like really being in a place where you allow yourself to be open to love. Finally, we have be in the present and dream of the future. When we dream, everything is possible. Allow yourself to imagine the best case scenario. I think that's especially important for this group, like allowing yourself to open your heart to what's possible. And this is a group where it feels like instead of keeping it so real that you don't give yourself an opportunity to visualize something bigger, better, especially in love and romance, kind of do a little bit of daydreaming and maybe make a vision board of what you want in a partner and in a relationship. But pile number 1, that is what I have for you. You know what? Let's see what your affirmation is. I open my heart. I open my heart to love and receive what is meant for me. I open my heart to love and receive what is meant for me is your affirmation, pile number 1. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know what else you'd like to see next. I do have a running list. Stay tuned for the next poll. It's going to be up very, very shortly, and it's going to decide the next pick a card reading that we do. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you are drawn to the Gomez and Morticia Adams Lovers card, and I'm going to place that right over there. As a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a disclaimer with this one. This is supposed to be your rom-com, so it's going to be a little bit exaggerated. It's meant to be fun. So we're just here to enjoy it. Take it as it resonates. I did do a rating breakdown at the beginning, which is timestamped below. I highly suggest that you check that out. It's going to tell you exactly what's going to be answered and in the format it's going to be answered. So check that out. That way you'll know if this is the right reading for you. But we are going to get started. And we're going to start by looking at both you and your future spouse's current energies when you meet, when this story begins to unfold. So we have person number 1 as the oyster. Ew, the oyster and the butterfly. Those are beautiful colors, especially that butterfly card. And determination. And then we have person number 2 as, okay, the unicorn. The cheetah. And finally, boundaries. So pile number 2, my intention is that you, my viewer, are on the left and your future spouse is on the right. That being said, sometimes the energies are flip-flopped. It can also happen that you identify with both energies, but if this doesn't sound like you, this doesn't sound like you, this is probably not your pile, so try choosing a different one. But let's get started. So person on the left is going to be the oyster. Person on the right is going to be the unicorn when I talk about them. So with the oyster card, this card on this deck, it's the element of water, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. With the butterfly card, this is the element of air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And we'll talk about the unicorn person when we get there. But when this rom-com begins to unfold, I think the oyster person is in a place where they're kind of feeling blessed with where they are at in life. Regardless of what's happening for the oyster person as this story unfolds, they're in a place where they're just happy to be where they're at. And it feels like overall they are content with where they are at. This oyster person feels like somebody who is feeling very patient and someone who is very just, this is like a very calming energy, and there's almost like a reassurance that this oyster person has that no matter what, they're gonna be okay. That no matter what, everything is gonna work out for them. And that no matter what, they're just happy to be where they're at. And I do think that this oyster person, especially around the time that this rom-com starts, right? That this story between these two starts, they're in a place where it feels like there's so many blessings around them And a lot of that is due to their ability to surrender and their ability to trust, not only in themselves, but in a higher power. Because I think that that's what this is. This oyster person has such a deep faith. And this is somebody who has so much hope and optimism that they're just kind of like going with the flow and knowing that even if things aren't exactly what they want them to be, they soon will be. And there's a level of trust in self and in something bigger than themselves that doesn't let this oyster person doubt that they are going to receive exactly what they want. I also think that this oyster person is in a place where they feel that something big is coming. Even if they can't identify it, it does feel like the oyster person is aware that there is a blessing that is on its way to them. And I also think that that's part of why this person is like so trusting and so confident in where they are at this time in their life. And there's something about this oyster person that is very graceful, very kind, just very loving. And this is somebody that things just kind of always work out for them. Like this oyster person could be the type of person, like if they, if they buy a scratch off ticket, they're going to win, or they're going to win a raffle, or they're going to like be the 100th person to walk into a store and they get a gift. There's something about them that feels very lucky. And there's something about them that is very calm, especially around the time where this story starts to unfold. And even when this oyster person is feeling uncomfortable or they're feeling like they don't know what's next, they're still able to sit with the discomfort and wait for what's next, knowing that it's going to be okay, that it's going to work out. I also think that around the time that the oyster and the unicorn connect, around the time that this story is starting to unfold for these two, the oyster person is really going to kind of be spending time with themselves, and this person is really going to be going through a contemplation period. And this person may already be dreaming of the unicorn person. This person may already be aware that this unicorn person is coming in. And one thing that that this oyster person has learned is what doesn't work for them. And this is somebody who has a very well-established routine of self-care that really keeps them grounded and centered. And I think that's what helps this person be so optimistic and be so easygoing even when they're facing the unknown or even when they're facing discomfort. But one thing is, don't get it twisted. This determination card, the oyster person is never going to give up on what they want. On the contrary, like they know they're going to get what they want because they're never going to give up, and it's going to work out for them because they're going to make sure it works out. But let's talk about the unicorn person. So, with the unicorn in this deck, the unicorn is represented by spirit. So, all 12 signs are represented here. And the Chica card is a fire energy. So, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But when these two start their story, I think one thing they're going to have in common is their belief in a higher power and their ability to trust a higher power. I do think the unicorn person is going to be going through a period of rediscovery of who they are, especially when it comes to their spiritual beliefs when this story gets started. And I also think that the unicorn person is going to be going through kind of a releasing of what is no longer serving them and releasing of whether it's relationships, whether it's ideas, beliefs, physical items in their home. This person is going to be kind of going through a purge as this connection gets started. And I also think that this person is going to really be kind of deep diving into their beliefs and if that has changed in any way. So it feels like a deep dive into what are my beliefs? Who am I? What do I want? What do I need? Where am I going? For some, this unicorn person is going to be going through a Saturn return of some sort, or their Saturn is going to be activated, or this person has heavy Capricorn placements in their natal chart or through their transit. But at the same time, this unicorn is very outgoing. And I would say this is somebody who's probably very extroverted. And the unicorn's focus is going to be on figuring out what the plan is and putting it into motion. I also think that when these two meet, the unicorn is going to be feeling a little bit impatient, especially when it comes to figuring out what's next for them and getting to the other side of that. So it does feel like there is a level of transformation that's happening and transition. And I do think these two are very intuitive and they can probably feel that transition. Whereas it feels like the oyster is very comfortable and very patient. It feels like the unicorn is more impatient and a bit more restless with this energy. Because I do think that both of these people are going to feel that the other one is coming in, even though they may not exactly know what's coming in or how it's going to work or what exactly this feeling that they have is. They're going to know something is on the horizon. This person is dealing with it with patience. This person is very impatient. And one thing I think the unicorn is going to be really focused on is purpose. And I think the unicorn is going to be really discovering what it is that they're passionate about. And they're going to be creating momentum towards those passions. So this feels like somebody who is going to be very intentional about the next chapter of their life and making sure that they are doing the things that they want to do. I would not be surprised if this unicorn person is going through some sort of career change or something. It's either like a career change or maybe they're like leaving their job and starting their own business, or it feels like maybe a hobby that they're starting up or like discovering a new part of themselves. There's some sort of transition here. But pile number 2. Let's take a look at your opening scene. For this pile, I'm going to be using the Wild Reflections Tarot. But what is your opening scene? What is your opening scene? So how does this story start between you and your future spouse for this rom-com? What is the opening scene? And this could be a vibe. This could be what's going on. We're going to keep an open mind. All right. We're going to keep those two out and we're going to keep that one. Bottom of the deck, the Ace of Wands. The opening scene is absolutely an opening scene, pile number 2. Let's see what else we have here. So we have Judgment. Okay, see? I said it here when I pulled these cards. I said it. There's something that you both know. You both can feel there's a big change. There's something coming. And that is going to help you. It's going to be very prominent at that time. We also have the Four of Swords. And we have the Devil card. Pile number 2. So The opening scene is both of you preparing to meet up. This is an opening scene for your rom com, is both of you going through your daily life in preparation of meeting each other. And this feels like this is the type of meeting where it's orchestrated, but at the same time, neither of you see it coming. And you're both kind of just going about your day and trying to keep yourselves in a place where everything is as normal as possible, even though you can feel something is going to be absolutely changing. So, for this group, there is a level of both of you kind of being, when this opening scene happens, it's both of you going through your daily routine and trying to kind of do the same exact thing, even though you both feel that something is about to change your life, that something new is about to come through. And there is like this feeling like when this opening scene comes up, this would be one or both of you speaking to like a close friend, or even talking to yourself or thinking to yourself, today feels like the type of day that's going to change my life. Today feels like the type of day that is going to be life altering in some way. And it's like going through the motions, but also knowing that something feels different, something feels magical, and both of you having some sort of intuition, maybe dream, about what is about to unfold on this day for you. And I will say, pile number two, for your opening credits, you both look exhausted as you are going about your day. And it could even be like, I'm just bored. Like I'm doing the same exact thing. And I feel like almost like a hamster wheel, right? Like I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm not really doing anything different. And there's a level of exhaustion to that. But there's also a level of magic here. There's a level of something is going to come up, something is going to happen that you cannot even see just yet. Let's take a look at the meet cute. So, how are you going to meet? What is this first spark? What's the meet cute in your rom com? What is the meet cute for my pile number twos in their rom com? Let's take a look. Pile number two, bottom of the deck, we have the Chariot. Yeah, there's a level of like, this is destined. Let's see what we have here. The Three of Pentacles, the Six of Swords, and the Lover's card. This is one of those meant to be. So pile number two, when you meet your future spouse, this meet cute, I think you're out and about, and one of you or both of you, it could be one or it could be both, take it as it resonates, you're going to be with other people. This is a group setting. You either have friends there, they have friends there, you're there with a group. This to me feels more like family or friends rather than like coworkers, but take it as it resonates. And it feels like you are both like doing something. This doesn't feel anything out of the ordinary. This actually feels like a day where you're getting up and you're doing something that you would typically do. So like if something, like if you're somebody who meets up with your family or your friends and you go out to eat, or you go to the market, or you go run some errands with someone, it feels like that's where you meet this person. And maybe it's that you, pile number two, my viewer, you kind of go out and you do your own thing on your own, but your future spouse is there with like a friend or like a family member, or but there's other people involved here, especially with this Three of Pentacles. So for some of you, it could very well be like we're going on a beach day, or we're going to the gym. Somebody may be meeting their special someone at the gym. Take that as it resonates. But like it's something that you would usually do, and maybe you do it with other people, or maybe there's like some sort of group, but that's where your future spouse is at. With the Lover's card being here and the Six of Swords, but especially the Lover's card, you're going to notice one another pretty quickly. This feels like a love at first sight, even though I don't necessarily believe in love at first sight. I think there is a way of like, I am attracted to the person at first sight, but I think love is more of a choice and something that you build and something that you work on. But this is a rom-com, so this is love at first sight. That's what it feels like, of like, I've noticed this person, I am intrigued. They've noticed me. They are intrigued. For some of you, it's a gym, it's a class, it's some sort of group activity. There's other people there. As I said, for some of you, it could be like a family or a friend is there with you or is there with your future spouse. And it's like doing something that isn't completely out of the ordinary, but it makes it out of the ordinary that you and your person have the opportunity to lock eyes. This does feel like the type of meeting that you look at one another from across the room and you notice one another immediately. You cannot stop gazing into each other's eyes or just looking at the other person. Um, for someone here, it could be like a beach day, it could be hiking, it could be a gym, it could even be like a farmer's market. But there is instant recognition here and there's instant interest. And for both of you, because I do think for both of you, there is almost a struggle of like life feels so boring and I'm sick of being on the same exact routine and doing the same exact thing. And it feels like very mundane, very routine. It feels like this meeting, the meet cute is like, boom. You see one another, you're interested on both sides. I do think they're going to be interested in you, you're going to be interested in them. And there is a recognition of like, I think this just changed everything for me. I also do think with this chariot card being at the bottom of the deck there, it's talking to me about two things. Number one, there is an element of this that feels like meant to be. It feels like right place, right time. Number two, there is an element to this that feels like very unexpected, very quickly. And it feels like this is something that I've done so many times, but today it's different. So it feels like for one or both of you, this place that you meet at, this event, this type of thing that you're doing is something that you are very familiar with. Let's take a look at who are these supporting characters here. So this could be a supporting character as a person or group that will help your love story. Who is your supporting character or characters? For my pile number twos, who's the supporting character here or characters? Bottom of the deck, the Page of Wands, the Knight of Swords, the Two of Cups, the Empress card. Pile number two, I think there is a good friend. This could be a sibling for some of you. For others of you, this is like a best friend or a very close friend. And I'm going to be honest, this could be that you both, right? So you have this close friend and your future spouse has this close friend or family member, but it feels like there is a close friend that is kind of really helping you through this, talking to you, encouraging you, being like almost like a cheerleader, and they're pushing you forward. I do feel like there is some sort of interference of someone kind of like pushing the other person forward and kind of saying like, go for it. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, go for it. Take a chance, talk to them. Or like if it's like somebody is already talking, like there's somebody that's already approached someone, which I do think it would be your future spouse approaching you, pile number two. This is like the friend, the supporting character is there to say like, yeah, go for it. I'll be fine. I'll wait for you right here. Go for it. Go talk to them or like go exchange numbers. Do what needs to be done. Like go do it because this feels very orchestrated. This feels like it's a great opportunity. So I do think that it's either like a sibling, maybe a cousin, a close friend, and I do think it's going to be on both sides. So it feels like two people, but it feels like it's one person on one side, so one person on your side and one person on your future spouse's side coming through as the assistants. And this person feels like very outgoing and like very encouraging. This person is going to be very, very encouraging. This isn't going to be somebody who's like, you know how you have some people that are like kind of like rude or they give you like worst case scenario or they try to like, you know, pee in your Cheerios type thing. This person feels like they are your number one cheerleader and they're going to want you to be happy. They're going to want you to explore this. And even if you're feeling a little bit shy or if you're not sure what to do, they're going to be like, yeah, go ahead. And this person may facilitate a conversation. This person, either on your side or your future spouse's side, this person feels like a wingman, wingwoman. Like this feels like somebody that may actually facilitate the conversation, especially because I do feel like for both, but especially the oyster, it feels more like an introverted energy. It does feel like this person is way more outgoing and they may facilitate the connection, they may facilitate the conversation. They may be the one to like start the conversation and then they excuse themselves, or they somehow like encourage one or both of you to get this going. They may actually even say like, hey, let's go do something else. Like, yeah, this is over. Let's go do something else. Like, let's go hang out as friends. Like, let's go somewhere else. So what is your character arc, pile number 2? What are you learning or transforming as you move towards love? So during this rom-com, what is your character arc? For my pile number 2s, bottom of the deck, the Hermit. Ooh, this feels like soul searching. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, the Three of Wands. We also have the Page of Swords. And finally, the Page of Wands making an appearance there again. Let me just see what's underneath here. Pile number 2. The Two of Wands. Yeah. So your character arc, pile number 2, is going to be self-discovery. And it's going to be just you getting to know yourself at a deeper level. And you giving yourself the opportunity to go after what you want and to experience what you want. And it's like, let me give myself the opportunity to try something new, to step out of my comfort zone, and to take advantage of an opportunity that is right in front of me. So for my pile number 2s, this feels like a character arc that is a lot about self-discovery and getting to know self through getting to know this other person, this future spouse, but also giving yourself the opportunity, because I feel like for my pile number 2s, for you, my viewer, for some of you, it feels like this is going to be a completely new experience where someone is coming up to you and talking to you and really like wanting to know you, and you're putting yourself out there. So it could be that maybe you've previously dated people that were friends before, or somebody that was like in your friend group, but it feels like something about this is like outside of your comfort zone, and something about this is like challenging you to really allow yourself to explore something in a way that you previously probably wouldn't. And your character arc is not only you rediscovering yourself, but you really allowing yourself to have a good time as you go through this experience. Like really allowing yourself to enjoy the moment and to be more spontaneous, pile number 2. Because I think for some of you, pile number 2, you could be like an overthinker, and it can be a little bit like intimidating for you to just go with the flow. And this is going to allow you to do exactly that. I also think that for my pile number 2s, part of your character arc is going to be really learning to trust and decipher what your intuition is telling you. Let's take a look at the character arc for your future spouse. So during this rom-com, what is the character arc for my pile number 2's future spouse? What's going on with them during this rom-com? Goodness, this card, and it doesn't want to come out. Bottom of the deck, the Five of Swords. Death card. Eight of Swords. King of Wands. They're going through a complete transformation. They're going through a complete change in their life. Remember, for most of you, this future spouse is going to be the unicorn. This makes sense. because they are breaking free from what was. And I said that. I do feel like the unicorn person is going through a period where they're trying to figure out, like, who am I at this point? How did I get here? And where am I going to go from here? So there's a lot that's falling apart for the unicorn. And I think for most of you, that is the future spouse. And there's a lot that's coming together. And I do think that for you, pile number 2, your future spouse's character arc is them learning lessons and applying what they've learned, applying what life has taught them this far to where they are headed and where they are going. And I do think a big part of the lesson is them learning that life isn't what they thought it would be, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. That actually means that there are more opportunities than what they thought possible. And I also feel like your future spouse's character arc is breaking free from anything that is holding them back in life, from anything that is making them feel stuck. And I also think that what your future spouse is going to realize is that they have so much more available to them than what they ever thought was possible, than what they ever thought was available to them. And that includes you, pile number 2. There's a realization of, like, I can have anything I want, and there's so much more out there than what I thought, and giving themselves that opportunity to explore that. And not only finding a path forward, but creating a path forward, because your future spouse, regardless of gender, they are stepping into their King of Wands energy, where they are stepping into their leadership. They are creating the life that they want by holding a vision of what they want for themselves in the future. And this person, like, have so many passions that are awakening. And I do think for some of you, pile number 2, this person is going to have some sort of strong fire placement in their natal chart. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It could be that they are an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, but there's a stellium in one of those signs. But what they are doing is they are reclaiming their power, and they are reclaiming what they want for their future, which is going to be very empowering and life altering in the best way. This person is following their purpose and finding alignment to their purpose during this rom-com, during your romance together. So let's take a look at the big romantic moment. What changes everything between the two of you? What is this big romantic moment in your rom-com? Bottom of the deck, what do we have? The Magician. The Hermit again. The King of Pentacles. The Queen of Cups. I think a big romantic moment for this group, I do think there's a trip here. So I do think you and your future spouse, when you are dating, when you are in a connection, in a relationship, I do think for many of you, this happens during a trip. So it could be that, you travel out of town or out of the city to just spend time together. Or it could be that you're out of town, out of the city to meet somebody's family or somebody's friends, or there's some sort of event. Maybe there's like a wedding that we're going to, and it feels like it's out of, it's not at home. It's not in your day-to-day life. It feels like there is a traveling, going somewhere together. Even if it's like, let's just go away for a weekend. Let's book an Airbnb. Let's get a hotel. Let's plan like a beach day. Let's plan a ski trip. I'm gonna be honest, I would rather be on a ski trip, but let's plan something that we're going out and about. We're doing something together. And I do think there's something very romantic that happens. Like, I'm kind of seeing like rose petals and champagne and just you two connecting, and it feels like it's alone, regardless of if you went somewhere to do something. This is like alone. We're in this place. We're in this room. This feels like the Airbnb or like the hotel room. You're both spending time together there. And what happens is there's a conversation about, listen, I really like you and I see a future. And like, this could be you both deciding to be exclusive. This could be you getting engaged. This could be you deciding to move in. It feels like whatever happens, whatever this big moment is the next step. So if when this connection starts, like you both kind of become exclusive pretty quickly, this could be you going somewhere and getting engaged. This could be you going somewhere and talking about moving in together. Whatever it is, it feels like there's a next step from what is happening. And it feels like it's very magical, but also it feels like it's something that both of you have manifested that is going to transform your lives in some way, shape, or form, right? It's going to change your day-to-day experience. So that's why it feels like there is some sort of growth, whether it's, we're going to become exclusive, we're going to get engaged, we're going to move in together, we are going to, whatever that next step is, that feels like the big romantic moment in your rom-com where both of you are taking things to the next level in some way. And again, it could be as simple as like, we don't want to see anyone else. It could be as deep as, you know what, let's get married. Like, let's have a kid together. Let's buy a dog together. Like, let's take it to the next level. Let's take a look at your love language together. So when it comes to your love language, how do you express affection together in your relationship, in your connection? 7 of Swords, pile number 2. We also have the Moon card. We also have the 8 of Wands, and we have the Page of Cups. I do think for this group, words of affirmation, physical touch and words of affirmation are going to be very important here. I do think that for both of you, making sure that you are both being honest with one another and that your person is being completely honest with you is going to be very important. But I also think that like hearing your person say like, I love you, I like you, I want you, I'm thinking of you, is going to be very important. But also I do think that this is going to be a very passionate connection, which actually makes sense. You picked Gomez and Morticia over there, which if you know, you know. But it does feel like physical touch and words of affirmation are going to be very important here. I also do think massage, like foot rubs, back massage, is going to be very important between the two of you. That's coming through here as well. Yeah, I keep seeing somebody like doing like a shoulder rub as well. And I do think for both of you, as far as like the way that you express affection, is making time, even when things are hectic, even when things are busy, making time to ensure that you are both able to slow down and be there for one another is coming through as super important as well. Like, we want to make sure that we are carving out time for one another. And I do think that this is going to be a relationship where you're both going to enjoy spending time together, even if it's like, you know what, like, let's just sit here and not do a thing. Like, let's just sit here, we both read a book, or we both sit in silence, or we both just scroll on our phones. As long as we're together, it feels like there's a level of like wanting to be together. And I do think pile number 2, like traveling together, going on adventures together, is going to be part of like your love language as well. Like making sure that you're taking at least 1 or 2 vacations a year is coming through here. So let's take a look at the final scene. So this is a glimpse of your life together. Like, think of it as a montage final scene before the credits. So for my pile number 2s, what is the final scene for my pile number 2s and their future spouse in this rom-com? Bottom of the deck, the 5 of Wands. friendly competition, wrestling, if you know what I mean by wrestling. Or you know what I mean, like playing, like kind of like being around each other, playing, tickling, all of those things coming through. Four of Wands. Yeah, you guys are going to be out and about enjoying your life. This Five of Swords, this montage for both of you is like you're out and about celebrating, going about your lives, doing the things. And I think the montage is going to be like milestones that you have reached together. So at the end, like right before the credits, what we would see in the montage of your rom com is like, yes, you got engaged. Yes, you got married. Yes, you had the children. Yes, you got the dog. Yes, you're chasing the kids around the house. Yes, you're getting older together. So it feels like a montage that includes the beautiful moments together, such as like those celebration, those times where you're having a great time, and even moments of like, you know, something happened that was not so great. Maybe we lost somebody, but we were together through it. Like maybe, you know, somebody got sick and the other person is just taking care of them. But it feels like it's the montage here, the final scene is time passing by and you hitting those big milestones as a couple together, where you are seeing the great, right? The good, the great, and sometimes even the things that didn't go your way, but you were still there for one another. You were still there to support each other and be there for each other. I do think for this group, there may be a level of like healthy competition between you and your future spouse. I would not be surprised if both of you are very active or if you're like into sports, because I'm kind of seeing a little bit of that come through. Let's take a look at the credits. So, what did this relationship teach you about love, joy, and partnership? What are the end credits here? What did this relationship teach you? What was the lesson here? You know what? I'll take four. Bottom of the deck, the Hanged Man. Let's see what else we have. Pile number 2, the Knight of Cups, the Six of Wands, the 10 of Swords, the 9 of Wands. So I think this is actually beautiful. What this relationship teaches you about love, joy, and partnership is that first and foremost, your future spouse is going to love you so much and you're going to love them. And this person is going to make you feel seen. This person is going to make you feel heard. And this person is going to make you feel loved and cherished and important. And you're going to do the same for them. And I think that part of what this is going to teach you is that when the good times are good, they're going to be great. But when things are hard, you having each other is going to make it so much easier, and that you can get through the difficult times when you have each other, right? Whether that is like something is going on at work, or, you know, I'm not feeling well, or we're just having a little bit of a disagreement in the relationship. Part of what this relationship is going to teach you is the fact that you're going to have one another, and it's going to make life so worth living. And even when something isn't going your way or it isn't going according to plan, you're going to have your person there to hold your hand as you go through the journey, and you're going to be there for them as they go through their journey. So no matter what, you're not going to be alone, and you're always going to have that love and that support and that feeling of being truly loved and being truly seen for who you are and being accepted for who you are. I want to see what's underneath the Hanged Man. Yeah, the Seven of Wands. This is both of you being grounded in the reality of your lives and having a life that you enjoy and that you are happy that you are experiencing. And I think a big point of like a big teachable moment or something that you're really going to learn in this relationship is that having this relationship, especially pile number 2, is going to be better than what you could have imagined. It's going to be different, but it's going to be so much better than anything you could have imagined. take a look. Pile number 2. I did have some cards that I pre-shuffled. Let's see what we have here for you. See, okay, see, I do feel like for this group that romantic moment is like an engagement. It's something taking it to the next level. So your love life is soon ascending to a higher level of commitment. Soulmate. Okay, so yes, this person is your soulmate. Your connection is sacred. So for those of you that were wondering, this is going to be a soulmate. Then we have take your power back. You are giving someone control over how you feel. Your happiness should only depend on you. So if you are struggling right now and like you're giving energy to somebody who isn't showing up in the way that you need them to, taking your power back can be a good way to bring this connection, this relationship about if you haven't met this person yet. But I also think that one of the things that's going to be beautiful in this connection is that even though you're going to have each other, you are still going to be in a place where you are satisfied individually as your own individual person. And that's part of what creates so much happiness in this relationship. Let's see what else we have here. A new love or recommitment to love is developing. So for those of you, if there's somebody in your life and they've kind of been like wishy-washy and you don't know if they're the one for you, it could be that there's somebody else out there for you, and that's why these 2 cards are coming out, but take it as it resonates. For others of you, maybe there is somebody that's coming back in for a recommitment, but only take this if it resonates with you, because I think for most of you, this is somebody completely new. Then we have denial, detach with love to clearly see the truth. I want to see what this and then vulnerability. You can be completely open with this person. So pile number 2, for those of you, I'm going to give 2 messages. Take the one that resonates for you, if any. For those of you where you have not met this person and you know you haven't met this person, maybe there's somebody in your energy field, maybe there's somebody that you're thinking about, or maybe there's somebody that you kind of are having an on and off with, like a, on and off situationship with. If they cannot give you what you want, what you desire, it is completely okay to see it for what it is and to close the chapter or to put it out there of what you want and what you desire. And if that person can't give you that, closing that chapter whenever, if ever you are ready, so that you can bring in this person. For others of you, this is a message that's coming in about you and yourself and whether you are being vulnerable or not. And this is a reminder that in order to be in a relationship and in order to find your soulmate, you have to be willing to be vulnerable and authentic and show up in that way. Let's see what else we have here. So we have speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change lives, including your own. So pile number 2, when you speak to yourself, make sure that you are doing it with respect, with empathy, and grace for yourself. If you have a very harsh inner critic, replace those words, catch yourself, and replace it with something that is encouraging, loving, and worthy of who you are and the love that you deserve to give yourself. Then we have choose love. You always have choice. Make yours with love. For some of you, there's something here that needs to be chosen. There's something here that may be coming up as far as like being intentional with where you are investing your time and energy. But choose love. Always choose love. Choose to love yourself. Choose to operate from a place of love. And then we have relationship patterns. It takes strength to recognize the need for change. See, for some of you, pile number 2, only take it if it resonates. This is not for everyone. For some of you, there's a pattern that you are in, and it could be with a specific person or a specific type of person that needs to be broken in order for you to allow this new energy in. Because I do think this is going to be a new love for most of you. But and this could be just like looking at your patterns in general and figuring out if there's a pattern that is not currently working for you and what you can do about that. But pile number 2, that is what I have for you. I choose love. I choose love. That is your affirmation for the week. claim it in the comments below. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. All of those things help me and the channel out so much. Share the video if you think it's worth sharing. Let me know what else you'd like to see next. I do have a running list of what the requests are, and I will be posting a poll very, very soon, so stay tuned for that. It will be in the community section of the channel. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be a reading if you are drawn to the lovers from the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck with Jack and Sally. I'm going to place that right over there. As a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown at the beginning. It is time-stamped below. I highly suggest that you check that out. It's going to tell you exactly what's going to be covered and the format. But to get started, we are going to be looking at your energy and your future spouse's energy as this rom-com story unfolds for both of you. So for the first person, we have the dolphin. We also have the frog. Then we also have confidence. For the second person, we have the owl. We have the beaver. That's a lot of water energy in this pile. And finally, we have intuition. So my intention is that you, my viewer, are on the left and your future spouse is on the right. Sometimes it happens that the energies are flip-flopped where you might find yourself on this side and your future spouse is on this side. But if this doesn't sound like you and this doesn't sound like you, this is probably not your pile. So try choosing a different pile, or it just could be that this specific reading doesn't have a message for you, which is okay. But I'm going to refer to the person on the left as the dolphin and the person on the right as the owl. But let's talk about this dolphin person. So we have a lot of water here. In these cards, we have the elements at the top there. The dolphin and the frog are both water elements. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, highly represented with a little bit of fire energy. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius with this confidence card. And we will talk about the owl person when we get there. But pile number 3. I really love that this dolphin energy is here along with this confidence card, because I do think that when this story begins to unfold, this dolphin person is going to be out there just living their best life, and they're going to be feeling so confident. They are going to be feeling so in tune, and it feels like this person is just truly blessed around the time that this story begins to unfold for these two. This dolphin person is someone who is very wise and intelligent, but this dolphin person is the type of person that is always going to see the glass half full instead of half empty. And I do feel like when this story is unfolding, this dolphin person is living a very spiritual life and a very spiritually connected. This feels like somebody who is very much connected to their higher self and to the 5D. And they are living life from a place of just best case scenario. Things are going to go my way. And there are so many blessings happening for this person as this story unfolds. And I do think that it's because this dolphin person has embraced their power very soon before, or even a while before this story begins to unfold. This dolphin person has embraced all that they are, and this dolphin person is operating from a place of I know who I am, I know what I bring to the table, and I know what I deserve, and I am not going to accept any less than that. I do think for the dolphin person, there is almost a romanticization of their life. Everything is romanticized with this person. Everything just feels very easy and very just everything is falling into place for this person as they are connecting with their future spouse. And we also have the frog energy here, which is all about clearing and cleansing. And I do feel like this dolphin person is going to go through a period where they are going to clear out anything that isn't working for them. They are going to cleanse their energy and their aura of any spiritual debris, as well as like any cords or any beliefs that were holding them back. I do feel like this dolphin person is going to be in a place where they have so much enthusiasm and they have so much energy when it comes to the life that they're living and how they are going about it. Like, this feels like somebody who things are going well financially, things are going well in their career, things are going well in their relationships with their friends and family. And for this dolphin person, it's like everything, every single day is an opportunity for something new and for something exciting. And I do think that this dolphin person is going to be in a place where they feel very much like very energized and very rejuvenated as this story is unfolding. And I do think it's because a lot of the healing work that they've done and a lot of the investment in self that they have put in, they're getting like a return of investment. Something is being given back to them where everything feels like it's exactly where it's supposed to be. And I also think that this dolphin person is very spiritually gifted. So it does feel like things are just like flowing for them in the best way possible, in the way that it's supposed to. Now I want to talk about this owl person. So with the owl card being here, this is representing, in this deck, we see that element of air represented. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We also see the beaver representing water energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, with the intuition card also representing Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy. So I feel like the owl person, when these two meet, they are going to be mirroring each other in some ways, but how the energy unfolds and how it shows up in their life individually is going to be different. Because I do think the owl person is also in an abundance cycle, in an up cycle, similar to the dolphin. But it feels like while the dolphin is more focused outwardly and kind of experiencing their physical abundance and material abundance, it feels like the owl person is more going within and experiencing more spiritual abundance and abundance through personal growth and personal evolution. So this owl person is also very much trusting the universe and trusting how things are unfolding and how things are working out for them. It does feel like for both of these individuals, there's a lot of just like things are falling into place and they are receiving a lot of blessings as this rom-com, as their story is unfolding. And it also feels like they are both in a very like good place materially, but I think that the owl person is more focusedly internally. And I do think that this owl person is going through more of like an introverted cycle where they're kind of spending more time alone and figuring out what comes next and enjoying kind of how things are unfolding more so than the dolphin person, because it's not that the dolphin person isn't enjoying it, it's that the dolphin person is going more outwardly than inwardly. And I will say with this owl person, there are so many blessings coming in that I almost feel like the owl is taking a little bit of a time out to just like really sit with all of the changes that has happened in their life recently. Because when these two meet, there's a lot of changes, there's a lot of great things coming in. But even when we are receiving good things, right? Good things, we do need to have that like moment of like, let me just sit and process everything that is coming up for me and everything that has happened. So it does feel like the owl person is very focused inward. And I will say a lot of this for the owl, for both of these people, but especially for the owl, a lot of the payback that they are receiving has to do with so much of the hard work that they have put in. And I do think that the owl person is going to be kind of receiving something due to an investment that they did, but this feels like it's like a person is coming in and like investing in something for them, or somebody is coming in and offering them a job or offering them an opportunity or helping them out in some way. For the owl person, it feels like there's another person involved in their abundance cycle, and it's because they've earned it. I also think that the owl person is going to be doing something as far as like work, career, that is very meaningful to them. So this feels like somebody that has a passion career, something that matters to them, something that they care about very much so. And they have a very clear long-term picture of what it is that they want and desire, and they're starting to see that come to formation and that kind of unfold in a way that is very clear that that is what's happening for them. And I do think that the owl person is going to be a little bit overworked, and I think that that is why they feel like they are kind of going within, and they're kind of taking that kind of almost like spending that within time and taking that time out. Whereas the dolphin person, it feels like this person has energy for days. It feels like this person is kind of trying to get their energy back up. They're still regenerating their energy, if you will. But pile number 3 for your reading, I will be shuffling on camera, and we are going to be using the Modern Love Tarot deck. And we're going to start by asking, what is the opening scene of your rom-com? How does your story start with your future spouse? So when we are doing the opening scene, how is this opening scene unfolding in this rom-com between you and your future spouse? For my pile number 3s, what is this opening scene? Bottom of the deck, pile number 3, the 3 of Wands. Let's see what else we have here. The 3 of Pentacles. Ooh. Oh, I don't know why I did that. 2 3s. And then we have, the Lovers card. The 3 of Swords. Okay, very interesting. So, pile number 3. Let's talk about this, because I think this is such an interesting energy, especially because this is the opening scene of your love story with your future spouse. So, what's coming through here as an opening scene and how this story starts, I think both of you are in a place where you are just going with the flow. And while you are ready for more, you're also in a place where you are really enjoying your current life as it is. And I think for both of you, the only thing that's missing in your life is your soulmate, is the love of your life. It's your better half. So as this opening scene, what we would see is more of a montage of you and your future spouse going through your day, enjoying your life, receiving all of these beautiful blessings that are already on, that not even on their way to you, but those beautiful blessings that are already unfolding for you real time. But also what this opening scene is highlighting, that even though you have everything you possibly want, and even though you are in this upcycle and you are receiving the things that you've worked so very hard for, that there's still a little bit of like this sadness or this sense of like something is missing, and what is missing is my person, is my better half, it's my soulmate, it's my divine counterpart. So this feels like in your opening scene, even though you are happy, even though you're spending time with loved ones, even though you have a good amount of financial abundance, and even though you have a good job and everything is working out for you, it almost feels like you would be, both of you individually, right, would be kind of looking at a happy couple, and you could see that there is a level of like wanting or desiring that type of experience for yourself. So it's that sense of everything is going my way, everything is exactly as I want it, but there's still that little bit, that part of me that is missing my soulmate, that is missing that loving connection. Not because I don't have love, right? Because there are friends, there are family, there are loved ones in your life, but it's because I'm missing that romantic connection, that romantic aspect. So I do think for this group, especially, there is that desire for love, there is that desire for romance. And I think very early on in this rom com, we would realize that both of you are actively desiring it. I would say for some of you, you may be actively putting yourself out there and dating, and it's just about you not meeting the right one. And I will say, I think the dolphin in this story is in a place where they are kind of being more intentional about potentially meeting someone and putting themselves out there. Whereas it feels like the owl is still a little bit more reserved, but they're still desiring that connection and they're still open to receiving that type of connection. So let's take a look at the meet cute. So what is the first spark? How do you and your future spouse meet in your rom-com? So in this rom-com that is your love life, how do you meet? And I just realized pile number 3, I forgot to give you the disclaimer. It was at the beginning of the reading, but I'm going to put it in each pile. When this is one of those readings that is meant to be fun because we're talking about a rom-com, right? So take it as it resonates, but this is meant to be a fun one. Let's take a look at the meet cute for you, pile number 3. Ooh, death card. Okay. 8 of Cups. 4 of Swords. Now this is interesting. 7 of Wands. Because all of these cards are kind of just, they're not the happiest of energy, even though I think both of you are going through a cycle of a lot of just abundance. So I'm kind of getting 2 very clear messages. For some of you, you've already met this person. So you may be watching this and you know who this is, and you met at a time where things weren't great and you've kind of gone your own ways and you've done a lot of the work, and then you're kind of going to find your way back to one another. Take that only if it resonates. For others of you, when you meet your future spouse, I do think there is a level of you are in a place where you are not expecting it. I also think that you may meet this person. For some of you, it could very well be like you're moving to a new home, you are moving to a new area, and your future spouse is there, or they're the ones moving into a new home, a new area, and you're there. So this is like, I'm moving to a different place, and maybe my neighbor's sibling is the person that I'm going to connect with. Or maybe like one of the people that are going to be helping me move, or somebody who's going to sell me something is the person that I am going to connect with. But I do think for you and your future spouse, when this meeting happens, it's when you are focused on yourself and you are going through some sort of change. And for some of you, that is a physical move where you are physically going somewhere else, moving homes, doing something in that way. For others of you, you meet this person. It could be at like a spa. It could be when you are going to go do something of like self-care or for yourself. Some of you, it could be at a bar. That's coming through very clearly. So I think for this group, it's going to be different types of meetings for different people. So take it as it resonates as far as like the where and the exact how. But the overall move here, like the overall vibe and mood and energy, is that when you meet your future spouse, both of you are desiring connection. Both of you are looking for connection. One of you may actually, or both of you, may actually even be putting yourselves out there to date. But when you actually meet one another, it is very unexpected. It's not something that you are looking for. This isn't like I'm going to go on a dating site. This isn't like I'm going to go on a dating app. This isn't I am joining speed dating. This feels very organic, very out of the blue. And when you meet, I don't think that you're going to be dress to impress, and neither is your future spouse. Like, this feels like we're going out to do laundry, or we're going out to pick up coffee. I'm like in my PJs, or I'm like looking just not my best because I wasn't expecting to meet someone. Or again, I'm kind of moving into this new place. I'm kind of joining this new hobby, this new group, and this person is there. And it really feels like a little bit of like a surprise. And it feels like a little bit of like a complete change of what you were expecting to find there, or what your expectation was when you were headed to that place. Like, you don't see this person coming. You're not prepared to meet somebody who's going to be important in your life, or like your future spouse at all when you meet. For someone here, if you live in like an apartment building, I wouldn't be surprised if you were like locked out and this is the person, like your future spouse is the one that's like, hey, do you need a phone, or what's going on, type of thing. Maybe they are a locksmith on the side. AAA, it feels like something where it doesn't go the right way, and it's like, oh man, like I'm meeting someone and that's not what I was expecting at all. But it's going to be different things for different people. But let's take a look at the supporting characters, pile number 3. So this is going to be a person or group that will help your love story. So who is the supporting character or characters for my pile number 3's rom-com? Bottom of the deck, the King of Pentacles, the Eight of Wands, the Tower card, very interesting, the Moon card. Pile number 3 for you. I think the biggest supporting character in your love story, in your rom-com, is going to be the universe itself. It feels like there is a series of events that have to happen in order for you and your future spouse to connect. And it feels very unexpected and very like you can't see what's coming. Even if you know something big is coming and something big is going to change your life, you will not be able to see that it's the fact that it's going to be your future spouse. And the same thing on their end. Like, they're not going to be able to see exactly that you are on your way to them. So it does feel like the biggest supporting character is the universe itself, and kind of the conspiring to make sure that everything is in motion for both of you to connect. This does have a vibe of like supernatural, like somebody is working and orchestrating this from above, instead of like there is a supporting character in the form of like a friend or a coworker or a loved one. This feels more like it's something bigger, right? Like it's the universe itself that's coming together to create the perfect series of events that are going to help you connect with one another, and that are going to shake up your world by bringing this person in. Pile number 3, this almost feels like you meeting and connecting with this person. I don't want to say a blessing in disguise, because it doesn't feel like it's necessarily a bad thing. It just feels like it's very unexpected, and it shakes you up, and it leads to like, and for some of you, this may be you reconnecting with someone, and the way that you reconnect with them feels very like unexpected, and like, I can't believe the way this worked out, where like maybe I met this person, lost contact with them, and this is coming back together in like the craziest way that would only make sense in a movie or a TV show or a book, but it's happening in my real life. There's something about this that's very unexpected, but that's also like very meant to be. Yeah, the Queen of Swords, King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck there, with the Eight of Wands, Tower card, and the Moon card. There's something very unexpected to this, but there's also something that feels very divinely guided for this as well. I want to keep going. Let's look at your character arc. So what are you learning or transforming as you move towards love during your rom-com? What is your character arc during this rom-com? For my pile number threes, what are my pile number threes character arc? Bottom of the deck, the Devil card. The Five of Wands, the Judgment card, and the High Priestess. Pile number three, your character arc during your rom-com is you embracing everything that makes you you. You are embracing your authenticity. And you embracing all of the abundance that exists in your life. And you breaking free from the idea of what you should be, what you should do. And actually you embracing what you want to do, who you truly are. And living life from that lens. And that's exactly what creates the opportunity for your future spouse to come in. So instead of like trying to operate from the place of I want love and I want a relationship and how is that going to look like, or what should I do, or how should I make that happen? It's you understanding that you're going to be yourself and you are going to embrace all of who you are. And as you do that, there's an opportunity for this, like the wheels are set in motion. And I think that's why there's also a level of like surprise, because I do think for you and your future spouse, you truly desire a relationship. You truly want to be with your person in love and experience that connection. But I also think that there's a level of like, it hasn't worked out before. So I'm going to kind of go through life and go through the motions. And if it happens, it happens. And when it happens, I'm going to be happy. But also, I'm not really expecting it. And the more you embrace your truth, the quicker this kind of just falls together. And it feels like it's like falling together. And your character arc is just to get to know and uncover your truth, and then to embrace it, and to give yourself permission to be your authentic self, to be your eccentric self. Because I do think for my pile number threes, part of what's going to make you stand out and part of what makes you wonderful is your eccentricity, and it's you allowing yourself to shine in that way. Yeah, it's you kind of closing the chapter where you are being anything but your true self, and you're allowing yourself to be seen. Like, yes, I'm spiritual. Yes, this is what I like. Yes, this is who I am, and embracing all of that. And as a result, you come into connection with your future spouse. So let's take a look at their character arc. So what is their character arc during this rom-com? For my pile number threes, what is their character arc? Bottom of the deck, the Fool card. The Two of Swords. The Empress card. That Devil card. See, you guys do have a lot in common. For my pile number threes, your future spouse's character arc is them finally deciding what they want in a relationship and putting themselves out there and going to get it. For my pile number threes, I do think that your future spouse is going to be the one to initiate. I also think that your future spouse is going to be the one to take the first step. And this is about both of you putting yourselves out there and both of you welcoming in this connection and allowing yourself to experience this connection. But for your future spouse, there's a level of this person like just really accepting what they want and what they desire and deciding that they're going to create it. And I think that for your future spouse, what they decide that they want and what they want to create is a family, having a partner, a long-lasting partner, right? A life partner, having a spouse, having a family of their own. And it feels like this person's character arc during your rom-com, during your story together, is the realization that that's what they want, and then going out there and intentionally creating it and getting out of their own way. I do think for both of you, authenticity and vulnerability is going to be so important in the sense of like showing up and saying, like, this is what I enjoy, this is my hobby, this is what makes me who I am. And instead of hiding that or trying to fit in or trying to fit into a box and not sharing everything out of fear of not being accepted, the more that you both lean into that, the easier it's going to be for you both to find one another. And I do think there are interests that you both have in common that are not like the most that are not very common. They're not like the most common interest. Like it could be something very niche that you like, that you enjoy, that you are going to share with your future spouse, and it's going to help you find one another. It's going to help you relate to one another. And I think that part of what's going to happen between you and your future spouse is that the conversations are going to flow so easily because you just get one another. You have so much in common with one another. Let's take a look at the big romantic moments in your rom-com. So what changes everything? This could be a confession, event, realization. What's this big romantic moment for my pile number 3s? Bottom of the deck, that Queen of Cups. Then we have the Two of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, the Death card. For this group, it's both of you consciously choosing one another and you both making space for one another in your lives. For me, this is like somebody is this is like somebody saying, like, you know what, I am going to move to be closer to my person. Or this is your person saying, I'm going to go move to be closer to pile number 3. This could also be like, let's share a home together. This could also be like, let's get engaged, let's get married, let's have a child, let's buy a pet. This feels like a very like milestone type of event that you both have a brand new beginning as a result of it. This could also be like you're both going exclusive and you are both very honest about one another. Like, listen, I have feelings for you. I like you. I'm falling in love with you, or I'm already in love with you. I don't want to explore anyone else. I want to make sure that you are my person. I'm your person. Let's do this. This is also you both kind of changing something in your own personal lives that is going to be as a result of knowing one another and connecting with one another. And this feels very life-changing. For some of you, this is taking something to the next step, but for others of you, this is like moving. For some of you, this is giving your person a key to your place. They're giving you a key to their place. For others of you, this is actually moving in together. For a few of you, this could be like, hey, we're pregnant, we're having a baby. For others of you, this could be there's something here that you both decide on that prioritizes the relationship over something else. That's how this is coming through as the big romantic moment. Yeah, see, there's somebody here may be moving. And it could be moving in together. It could, it could be moving in together. It could also be moving closer to the other person. But this is something that feels very stabilizing for the connection, for the relationship, and something that is going to help the connection get to the next level. For some of you, it is starting a family together. Yeah, with the 3 of Wands underneath the deck there, for some of you, it's starting a family together, whether it's planned or not. It's more of a surprise. Different things for different people, but there is something very big here. Let's take a look at your love language together. So, what is your love language together? How do you both express affection in this relationship, in this connection? Bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Acts of services. For some of you, gift giving as well. Seven of Swords. The Hermit card. And the Ten of Wands. One thing that is going to be extremely important in this relationship is honesty. And I think the expectation of honesty is going to be one of the first things that both you and your future spouse establish as something that is very important to the both of you. And I think you're both going to agree that you want honesty, how you want to communicate, how you want to relate to one another. We also have, as far as how you express affection, I do think like gift giving, but not in a way that's too extravagant, but in a way of like, I'm thinking of you. I know that you would love this thing. Again, for some of you, you and your future spouse have like a hobby or something that's very niche that you share together. Like for me, this is coming through as like D&D. Like if you play Dungeons and Dragons and Dungeons, I don't know, I haven't played it. But like the dice, I have friends who play and I know what they like. So like I got you some dice for the game. Or like maybe you're gamers and like this person like thinks of you and they get you something really sweet. Or maybe you just love a cupcake and this person just grabs you like your favorite cupcake. Something like that when it comes to gift giving. But I also think that like acts of service and being there for one another, I do think for both of you, independence is going to be very important. Not in the sense of like we're avoiding each other, but in the sense of like you both need space and you both need to spend like some time recharging by yourselves. From time to time, and I think that that's part of what's coming through here as very like important as far as both of you expressing your love and care for one another. And I also just think like both of you are very busy, so like having your partner be there to kind of like help you out and support you, whether it's just like I'm having a hard day, so do you want to talk about it, or like today was just really heavy, so I'm gonna get home and your person is there and they're like giving you a foot rub, or they're like, you know what, I got you, let me get like a bubble bath ready for you, or don't worry about it, I've got the kids today, I've got dinner today. It feels like it's about both of you finding the balance and kind of picking up where the other person may not be able to give too much on a specific day, and having that like ebb and flow of like one person is going to show up when the other person just can't or is too exhausted, and vice versa. And then there will be days where both of you are showing up 100% and you are both making it happen. So finding that balance for both of you. Yeah, that Queen of Pentacles. I also think when it comes to gift giving, like really surprising each other with little things is going to be so important in this connection, in this relationship. And I think that this is a group where like you building something that's going to stand the test of time, not just the relationship, but like let's have an empire together. Let's build something for future generations is going to be important. So both of you supporting yourselves, supporting each other as you do that. So let's take a look at the final scene. And this is a glimpse of your life together, or like the montage final scene. For my pile number threes, what's this final scene like for my pile number threes? We have the Six of Swords, the Nine of Cups, the Hierophant, the Nine of Swords. So pile number three, I think this final montage for you is actually how your life is changing. So I think your rom-com ends before you like get married, and like your montage is you getting married, you maybe having your first kid, you moving to a bigger house. It's all of those things, all of those milestones that you have reached that are going to make you very happy. I do have to say, I do think for this group, if this was a rom com, your final scene would be a montage of you preparing and having like your wedding, and maybe getting to like you moving to the house together, or you moving to like a bigger house together. Like this feels like the type of montage that wouldn't be too far into the future, but it would be focused on something more specific. And with the Hierophant being here, the Nine of Cups and the Six of Swords, to me, this speaks more to like a wedding. Yeah, look at that Page of Cups there. And I think the Nine of Swords is here because of the anxiety that would come up. And I think the Nine of Swords is also here because this final scene would include like those glimpses to the past where both of you were really wanting to find one another, and you had yet to find one another, and this montage would take you to the point where it's like, now we have found one another and we have received this wish fulfillment, and now we're at the wedding. I really do feel like this would be a montage where it would end like, we're getting married, we're celebrating with friends and family, and we are having the time of our lives doing so. I also think that we would see a little bit of like that wedding prep of like, yeah, this is how everybody's gonna sit. And we would see a little bit of like the friends and family having a good time, dancing, celebrating you and your future spouse, and celebrating your love together, and celebrating the life that you are going to build together. I also think we would see some romantic scenes from the wedding, like cutting the cake, having the first kiss, having the first dance, the dance with the mother for the groom, or with the father for the bride, or however it is that you're going to celebrate it. We would also see that in your montage, because that would be the beginning that you are starting brand new. And that's, I think, the final scene. But let's take a look at the credits. So what this relationship teaches you about love, joy, and partnership. What would this relationship teach you about love, joy, and partnership? For my pile number threes, what is this relationship going to teach my pile number threes? Bottom of the deck, the Queen of Wands. I love this. The Knight of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. Pile number three, I think this relationship would teach you that you can have everything that you desire and so much more. I also think this relationship would teach you what true love is and what true understanding is, and what it feels like to have someone that is always going to have your back and really truly cares for you. I also think that what you would learn from this relationship is that joy, happiness, contentment, excitement is within reach, and that you have a life that may not be exactly what you imagined, because sometimes in the fantasy we imagine things slightly different, but that it's better than anything that you could have imagined. And I think a big thing for this couple is the fact that both of you are going to be able to keep your independence and keep your sense of self, but still have each other to fall back on, and to support one another. And yeah, this is your idea of what, like, this becomes your idea of the perfect marriage. Even though there's nothing that's exactly perfect, it's perfect for you, and it works for you, and it's great for you. And there is that sense of like gratitude that you both experience at the fact that you found one another. And I think a big thing for this group is that you both make it a point to keep the romance alive. And part of what you learn is how to keep the romance alive in your connection, in your relationship. But pile number three, let's take a look at what we have here. So we have forgive and release. You are stronger when you carry love and forgiveness rather than anger. Take this one as it resonates. For some of you, I do feel like this is a group where for some of you, you may already know who this is, and there may be a separation here. Only take that message if it resonates. Then we have actions speak louder than words. If you want to know what someone is feeling, watch what they are doing. And that's the thing, pile number three. Like, this person, their words are going to match their actions. They are going to walk the talk, and they're going to make sure that they love you and that they show you that they love you. So just know that that is going to be part of the experience, especially if that is something that hasn't always been the case for you. Then we have be optimistic. Keep in mind that you create your reality. You can't attract love with a negative mindset. And I do think that when you both meet, because remember, this was like a current energy of when your story is unfolding. This is a big part of it. Like, there is this expectation that like something great is going to happen. And when it does, I am receptive to it. Then we have children. Children are important to this partnership. So for some of you, you will absolutely have children with this person. For others of you, it could be that the inner child needs some love. Take it as it resonates. Then we have balance. One person is giving too much in this relationship. Just know that this is going to be a balanced partnership. Also, for those of you where you are seeking love and you haven't met this person, or you are in separation from this person, creating more balance and giving this person the opportunity to show you that they care, to show you that they want you in their life is going to be important. So decision, it is time to decide about this relationship. Pile number 3, if you know this person, it could be time to like put it all on the table and give them the opportunity, or decide that you're not going to. For those of you that don't know who this person is, get clear about what you want. And even if you're just like, I'm not going to go out there and find it, I'm not going to force it, you saying to the universe, I am ready for love and I am open and receptive to it, gives the universe an opportunity to send you what you want and what you desire. But get clear about what that is. There we have be supportive, make a genuine effort to show that you care. And I think that this is going to be a big aspect of this relationship and this partnership, is both of you showing up for one another and both of you being there for one another. Then we have love endures. Love does not give up or lose faith. Love is hopeful and withstands every situation. So for some of you, if you know who this person is and you are in separation, just know, and you know in your heart, like, this is my person right now. We're just both working on some things. Just keep that vision in your heart. And for those of you that don't know who this is about you knowing that your person is out there, and you knowing that you will connect, and that there is no question about whether or not it's going to happen for you. And then finally, we have be authentic. Be real and true to who you are and how you feel. That message kept coming in. Pile number 3, that is what I have for you. For your affirmation for the week, my authentic self is worthy of love. My authentic self is worthy of love. That is your affirmation. Claim it in the comments if you feel like it. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It helps me and the channel out so much when you do any of those things. Share the video if you think it's worth sharing. Let me know what else you'd like to see next. I am going to post a poll very soon. I also have a running list of all of your requests. So if you have one, drop it in the comments below. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now.